I'm not going to be going over like callouts or any map specific items during this workshop. I really want to speak to the casual player base and share some of the tips that I've learned, how to improve your aim, and this will get you really far. I know I get made fun of not knowing how to play the game. I don't play comp as much as I should, but one thing that's gotten me far is my gun skill, my aim, my ability to track my targets and hit shots when I need to hit them. So let's hop into the first aim segment. So the most important thing about aiming is called centering, which is, a basic concept when you first hear about it, but you really have to apply it to your game. So I watch a lot of people play from now and then, and I think it's just kind of like a natural thing to like run and look at the ground. It's a really bad habit to be into. Like if you're looking at the ground and your target's over here, you have to waste time getting on target. So the best thing you can do is pretty much always stay centered, and no matter what height you're at, always stay centered, even maybe a little bit higher than where your target's gonna be, so you're gonna hit headshots. But instead of looking at the ground, like I know if you come from a game like Counter-Strike where you do flicks and fast motion aiming with like a keyboard or mouse, you might be used to like just looking at the ground and relying on your flicks and your reaction time to pick people off. In Call of Duty, it's not like that at all. You really want to be centered. You want to be aiming as much as possible. If you're caught with your gun down and your opponent's already shooting at you, you're going to lose your gunfight. Maybe not in Cold War when you have a chance to shoot back and there's a higher TTK and there's no flinch. You'll have a little bit of a chance to shoot back, but in a game like MW, you really have to center, and you have to center here as well. But focusing on your centering is the thing that helped me, go from an average player to an above average player. A lot of people just run around looking at the ground, or they're running around there looking at their scoreboard. Honestly, I've seen that happen. You really want to be focused on your dot. I'm glad that they have this dot on your screen now in Call of Duty. You really just want to be centered. Head height, upper chest height, so your recoil kicks in and gets you a headshot. So that's the one thing that really helped my game improve a lot, was just centering. And it's not like a simple solution either. You really have to understand every map that you play on, where your gunfights are going to be. And I'll just jump right into that now. It's like, if you're not getting fried by Bert, but on a map like Garrison...
I don't know if that's fried.
No health? Alright. So, like, let's just say I'm taking P1 from lights or something. Like, you know before you peek here, there's going to be someone either here or up on caution, or maybe over to the right of caution. So you don't want to come around the corner looking at the ground and having to adjust for it. You want to pre-aim peek them. This is called jiggle peeking. Like, just taking quick little jiggles through the wall. But you want to understand... This bot just looking at me. Alright, so we got a question in the chat. How do you use aim assist? I noticed that when somebody is close to me, it pulls my aim, but it does not work at long distances too. So I'm not a huge expert on aim assist. I know in Call of Duty, let me come up to a player here. There's two things about aim assist. There's one rotational aim assist. So as you see, I'm like walking across this guy. It'll like rotate my body. I don't know why it's not rotating. Right, like rotational aim assist, like. And then when you are sweeping across somebody, you get a little bit of slowdown. So that's aim assist slowdown. Different weapons have different ranges of aim assist. Yeah, that's a good answer. For sure. And then maybe the flashlight attachments help with that as well, with their reveal distance. I'm not 100% sure. So yeah, see, as I walk by Mellow here, you see my character turn there. That's aim assist rotation. And then when you're aim down sight, you get slowdown. So as I'm sweeping across him, see how it kind of glues to him? And yeah, that's like something you see, and we saw that in Call of Duty Champs last year, where Shotzi threw his body in front of his teammate. I think it was Hook defusing the bomb. This was on Gunrunner S&D, and Simp was going to kill Hook defusing the bomb, and you saw Shotzi throw his body in front of him and mess up Simp's aim assist. And they actually won that round because he wasn't able to get the kill on the bomb diffuser. So yeah, it's a common tactic to fly out with your team. Like, throw 2 bodies out, and it really messes, if you're pre-aiming, it'll mess with your aim assist for sure. But yeah, sorry I couldn't give you a more detailed answer there. But yeah, there's aim assist rotation at close range, and then at long range there's aim assist slowdown, and I think Signor's correct saying different weapons have different ranges of aim assist. That would make sense because it's super easy to quickscope in this game, and aim assist plays a big part of that. But thank you for the question. So yeah, we talked about centering. We talked about knowing where your gunfights are gonna be. So if you know where someone is, use information from your team, and apply it to your game. So like, say if you're coming out of here, you're in lights, and you're at P1, you know someone's gonna be at this head glitch, or you know they're gonna be at caution. Maybe aim at caution, pre-aim, peek it, throw a couple shots down range, like Mello here. So centering and pre-aiming is big. Pre-aiming is king in this game. You do not want to get caught with your gun out. For some reason in Call of Duty, maybe not Modern Warfare, but definitely in this game, sprint to fire time is really slow. Like, if you ever go back and watch Black Ops 2 gameplay, you watch someone with an MSMC, their gun comes out almost instantly and they can begin shooting. Like, you can get caught with your gun down in those older games and it was fine, but Cold War is heavily based on pre-aiming. 100%. Like, pre-aiming. You do not want to get caught in a sprint. You do not want to get caught with your gun down if you know you're taking a gunfight. So, take those 2 pieces of advice and apply it to your game. I want to get into something that I need to improve on. I know with some guns in this game you might not need to, but this is one of those extra pieces of advice that can take your average level game to above average instantly, and that's called Recoil Control. Let me get rid of this guy here. So right now I'm using AK-47, Spetsnaz Comp, and Spetsnaz Grip, both recoil reducing attachments. Let me just unload into this wall here, and let's see the recoil pattern. Yeah, let's do 20 meters out, so we're within our effective range. So I'm just going to let it rip without doing any recoil control. Alright, so when the AK's kitted like this, there's really minimal recoil. I mean, we see that. Look at that tight grouping. We're 20 meters out. You're pretty much going to hit all your shots on target there. But, just because there's a little bit of recoil doesn't mean you have to do anything to control your recoil. So the best thing you can do for recoil control is simply just pulling down on your right stick when you shoot your gun. Like, so let me get 20 meters away from it again. And on your right stick, aim down a little bit while you shoot. Like, even like with the AK-47 right here, like that grouping's still tight, and all my shots pretty much went to the same place. Get out of here. So it gets a little trickier with some guns with more recoil, and I would suggest just playing around with it, shoot the wall a couple times, and understand your recoil pattern, because it's good to just pull down on your right stick, because naturally all guns kick upward, and I know with aim assist in particular, it'll help you kind of readjust and stay on target. Let me see if I can get a gun with some ammo. Actually, I'll switch over to 74U. Someone come kill me. So the 74U has, I'm using the Task Force barrel on here, very controversial barrel at the moment. It probably will be GA'd, but it adds a lot of recoil to your gun. So let's just get 20 meters away from this wall. Let's see, hopefully I don't die here. Let's see the recoil pattern of this AK-74U. So yeah, as you can see, it's a submachine gun. It's going to kick a lot more. Get out of here. It's going to kick a lot more. And you saw it go straight up and to the right. So that's when you can start pulling down and left on your stick. So let me get 20 meters from this wall again. And then I'm just going to shoot and hold down and to the left a little bit. So I only had to move my right stick maybe halfway down and to the left. It's really hard to see the bullets here, especially when I'm getting shot by bots. But pretty much, find a gun you like. I mean, it's pretty much the AK-74U, the AK-47, or the Krig right now. Shoot a wall, understand the recoil pattern, shoot a couple different full clips into the wall. Because sometimes the recoil pattern can be a little different because of aiming stability. So yeah, just try to shoot the wall, understand the recoil pattern, and understand what you need to do with your right stick to fight against that recoil. And you'll be winning a lot more gunfights. If you're doing this subconsciously, that's great. I mean, you're already doing more for yourself than a lot of, regular Call of Duty players. So just pull down and to the left with the AK-74U, pull down straight with the AK-47. With the Krig, I don't even have a Krig set up. Let's try the XM4 just for a little extra flavor. Kill me. Let me get to a question here. Head out soon. I thought, how often do I look at my minimap? Great question. All the time. Minimap awareness is very important in competitive Call of Duty, mainly for knowing where your teammates are and where your teammates are spawning can help you understand where the enemy team is going to start spawning. So, I wish I had Tag Max open right now, but I haven't really done a whole lot of research in this, but it's really important to just be aware where your team is spawning, because depending on where the hill is, your enemy team is probably going to spawn on the opposite side of that. What will happen pretty often is what's called a pinch spawn. Some people call it parallel, because you have 2 enemies on one side of the map and 2 enemies on the other side of the map. So just pay attention to the minimap for spawns. And yeah, when you see your enemy's red dots appear, that's huge, because then you don't have to rely on your teammates for information, but usually your teammates should be calling them out, as their red dots appear anyway. But yeah, minimap awareness is key for knowing where your enemies are going to spawn, and that's going to dictate how you play your rotations in hardpoint. And in control, it comes into play because the spawns, like if you cap one point or a different point, it's going to change it up a little bit. And if you're, depending on where your team is currently sitting, that's also going to influence your enemy's spawn. So great question. I appreciate that.
Once you start to know the spawns, you'll know where to pre-aim when you're coming around corner. So you can read those engagements easier.
100%, yeah.
Back to your other point.
Yeah, like take all these little pieces of advice and piece them together. Pre-aiming and knowing where your gunfights are going to be and knowing where the spawns are going to be. You're not wasting your time pre-aiming at a location like these vans when they're probably going to be pushing through here first or here first. So it's a combination of different tips. But anyway, back to recoil control. Let's just aim right here, 20 meters out. XM4 kind of goes up and to the left, a lot of horizontal recoil. So I'm not even sure if I have my kitted out correctly. I'm not an XM4 main. Definitely watch Eaton play if you want some good XM4 clips. But I have the infantry comp and the field agent grip again. Some of the best recoil reducing attachment. Thanks, Brown. Appreciate you tuning in. I was glad I was able to answer some of those. Hope it was helpful. So yeah, the XM4 doesn't have a whole lot of recoil. I mean, the ARs in this game are fairly easy to control. It's really going to improve your game when you're playing with submachine guns, especially the AK-74U with that task force barrel, as we saw with how much recoil that had. So that pretty much concludes the segment for aiming, and that's, the gun skill is going to get you really far, but it's not going to be, you're not going to be a complete player if you're just relying on your gun skill. We've seen teams in the Rec League where they're stacked, they got talent, but they're not playing the game correctly, and they lose to teams that may be less talented, but understand the game at a deeper level. So, if there's anything I want you to take away from this workshop, and there's anything that's going to take you from being an average player to an above average player, it's going to be these 3 things. Centering. Centering is so important. Aim at people. Like, don't run around looking at the ground. Never do that. You're wasting reaction time having to snap up the heads. If you come from like Counter-Strike, I feel like that's a game that's dependent on flicks, like I said earlier. You're not going to be flicking people in Call of Duty. You really have to center and pre-aim. And what comes into that is information from your teammates. Yeah, we talked about centering a little bit. So pretty much like you always want to be centered. Like I know it's difficult when you're going up surfaces, and you know, but you got to adjust your aim. Like say you're coming upstairs, and
Sorry, I didn't know it was you.
like yeah, but if you're perfectly centered and you're coming up a staircase, like your aim isn't gonna like you're gonna be shooting your enemy's toenails off by doing this. But you pretty much always want to be centered at their head or their upper chest so you get that recoil that gets a headshot and you melt people. But yeah, centering is the most important thing about improving your aim in Call of Duty. Recoil control is probably secondary, but yeah, combining centering with pre-aiming will take you far. And make sure you always have your gun up and ready to fight. You never want to be caught with your gun down or in a sprint in a gunfight. You will die. 100%. So that concludes it for aiming. I really hope that helps. Obviously, like, you know, keep doing research if you need help. DM me. Like, I'm down to like play with people and practice. If you have any questions at all, please type them in the chat. I really hope this is valuable, especially towards average players like, you know, me who want to get better at this game. So combine centering with pre-aiming and information and recoil control, and you will take your gun skill to another level. So I hope that was helpful. We're going to move on to the next segment here if there's any
Real quick.
questions. Yeah, go for it.